Sergio Perez. Is he going to be a world champion? From being dropped by McLaren in an early stage of his career, to joining Force India and establishing himself as top of the midfield, then being dropped again by Racing Point to be picked up by Red Bull and help Max Verstappen in his charge of world championship glory. And then there's this year, 2022, where he could be a title contender. This season, Sergio Perez has really shown everyone that he's able to fight at the top. I know last year a lot of people were quite skeptical of him. Now yes, he did have that first win of the season in Baku and that front row in Imola, but the first half of the season wasn't great for Sergio Perez. And Red Bull were looking for a replacement for Daniel Ricciardo, who did amazingly in that Red Bull seat. So Sergio had a lot to live up to. In 2021, he understood that he'd be playing second fiddle to Max Verstappen. Now I won't lie, as I said, in the first half of the season, he wasn't doing great except for that front row in Imola where he beat Max Verstappen. But then of course he got overtaken at the first corner by Max, and after that first half it kind of seemed like the Red Bull driver curse plagued Sergio Perez, and it looked like Red Bull would never get a replacement for Daniel Ricciardo. But during the second half of the season, Sergio Perez really ramped it up a notch, and he started showing Red Bull that he was worth the money. He also showed Red Bull that he was there to play the team game. There were so many occasions where he happily pulled over for Max Verstappen for him to win the championship. The two most evident performances where he did this was obviously in France, where he let Max go and they ended up both getting podiums. Then obviously in Abu Dhabi, where he held Lewis Hamilton up so much he pretty much won Max Verstappen the world championship. Sergio sacrificed his own race, and I think the gap with Hamilton went down from about 8 seconds to 1 second after Sergio backed him up. He really helped Max to win that championship. So most people, including myself, thought that Sergio Perez would become a Valtteri Bottas type character and always be a second driver. Maybe win a race here or there, but never win a title or anything. But all of this changed in 2022. Stop! We're trying to beat CF Racing to 20,000 subscribers. And if you want to help me do that, be sure to turn that red button grey and subscribe down below. It's free, only takes a few seconds, and you can always unsubscribe later if you want. And that's the only time I'll ask. Thanks. It's the new era of aerodynamic regulations, and it seems like Red Bull have the quickest car on track. Mercedes have dropped off, meaning Red Bull don't have to worry about Lewis Hamilton anymore, but the Ferraris have stepped it up, and Charles Leclerc seems to be their biggest threat. Now Red Bull haven't won a Constructors' Championship since Sebastian Vettel in years. And since they didn't win one last year, there would have been a lot of pressure on Sergio to win their first in many years. Now it seemed like we'd have a Ferrari win in Bahrain, followed by both Red Bulls. But of course that lovely Red Bull reliability plagued the team, and both Max and Checo retired in the closing stages of the Grand Prix. Red Bull were now last in the standings. I still can't get over that. It was like McLaren and Red Bull at the bottom, then we had Haas in third or something. It was insane. But in Saudi Arabia, Sergio would start to change, as he would do insanely well and get his first pole position in Formula 1. Unfortunately, his luck didn't go his way on Sunday, as thanks to an unlucky safety car, he pitted just before it and lost loads of time, and he came out in 4th. Saying that, he did finish in 4th, and Max won it, so it was a good haul of points for Red Bull, but 4th isn't as good as 1st. In Australia, Max DNF'd again thanks to that Red Bull's reliability. And then Sergio finished 2nd, but it was really damage limitation. Charles Leclerc won his 2nd race of the season. In Imola, Sergio messed up a little bit in qualifying, putting him in P7 on the sprint race grid, but thanks to that sprint race, he finished P3 on the actual grid. And at the start of the Grand Prix, he made his way up, and thanks to Charles Leclerc spinning on the sausage, he finished P2. It was Red Bull's first 1-2 of the season. In Spain, he came 2nd, but a lot of people thought he could have won it, but thanks to team orders, he didn't. And then in Monaco, of course, he won the Grand Prix and fell over when celebrating. In Baku, where he won last year, he put it in P2, again consistently finishing on the podium, and unfortunately in Canada, he DNF'd. Then next in Silverstone, he got another P2 finish. What is this guy in finishing in P2? And unfortunately in Austria, he DNF'd. Now, after accounting his season so far, it shows that he's doing insanely well. He's always finishing at at least P4, and he seems to be in that P2 position almost every single race. But this is what Red Bull needs to win their Constructors' title. And it's almost what Sergio needs to win his first World Championship. But I'm still amazed at the fact that Red Bull chose him last year, because the Red Bull Driver Academy is arguably the most competitive. I think they have 5 Red Bull Juniors in F2. Then of course they have Yuki and Pierre in AlphaTauri. The fact that they chose Sergio over any of them is pretty cool. And the fact that he's now showing them that he deserves that seat over another Pierre Gasly or something like that, he's really doing well for Red Bull. And he definitely deserves that 2-year contract extension. But in these 2 years, could he win a World Drivers' Championship? Well, in his first half of the season, he's arguably been in the same bracket of consistency as Max Verstappen, and as well arguably more consistent than Charles Leclerc. Leclerc. You see, there are a few things a driver needs to win a world championship. One of them is to have a good car come their way, and Sergio definitely has this, as the Red Bull seems to be the quickest on track. The next thing you need is the pace to get up there in the podium places and win races. Well, Sergio's definitely shown that he has this in him, as he's almost finished on the podium every single race. Then finally, you need to be consistent. Consistent enough to always get those podiums and wins. And once again, he's showing this. The only thing he needs is to get that first place. Yes, he's finished P2 a million times, but he needs to get P1 more often. And then his next hurdle is Max Verstappen. Now, Max has been in that Red Bull team for years now, and he's shown that he is the #1 driver, and he's invested in that team. Whereas Sergio's only been there for a year and a half. So everyone knows it might as well be called Max Verstappen Racing rather than Red Bull. And since Max has already delivered Red Bull a championship, they trust him. I'm not saying that Red Bull don't trust Sergio, but he needs to show them that he can also deliver a championship or at least multiple wins in a season. So if he does this, then maybe, just maybe, Red Bull will choose Sergio Perez over Max Verstappen. But this is not his only hurdle. The other person he has to beat is Charles Leclerc, because the title battle is usually between two opposing teams. So once he's beaten Max Verstappen, who's arguably the quickest driver on the grid right now, he needs to beat the second quickest driver, Charles Leclerc. And as I previously said, he's more consistent than Charles Leclerc this season. And as George Russell would say, consistency is key. So I think if he keeps this up and keeps getting a little bit better, I see no reason why he can't win a championship either this year or in the next couple years. And also remember, it is Formula 1. Sometimes drivers have terrible years, and if Max and Charles have a bad year, then maybe Sergio is there to pick up the pieces and win his first world championship. But what do you think? Do you think Sergio Perez will ever win a world championship? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out this one right here, about Mick Schumacher and how he's become the villain of Formula 1. Check it out right now. I know you'll love it.